Good day everyone, my name is Ray and I am the founder of Electrician Exchange. The topic for today's podcast is why are employers quibbling about rates when there is a bigger issue to address. To try and go through this, I guess I started with the curiosity as to why are employers quibbling about rates when they don't question demand and supply on things like petrol, vegetable prices that they go and shop for, car prices. They accept the fact that demand and supply and inflation affects certain part of their business, but still when they go in and start to look at A grades to employ, whether it's for permanent contract, casual, whether it's irrespective of the industry, EB or non-EB, they seem to, I guess, have rates as the major issue. To try and explain this, let me try and develop an analogy. So the analogy is around the purchase of a van, which most RECs would have. And when they go and buy a van, they may use something called carsales.com. Similar to Electrician Exchange, lots of demand, supply flowing back and forth, but it's a true indicator of where the market meets. And when they go out there, they'll probably say that a van could cost anything from $30,000 to $60,000. But let's say that they say, look, my budget's only $12,000, and say, I'm going to stick to that, 12 grand is my budget. So they spend a few weeks trying to wait till the right good $12,000 car comes up. They wasted 3 to 4 to 6 weeks looking for the right car. Now presumably they need the car because they need someone to go from place A to place B to do the work, and in doing the work earn margins. And while that's being done, I guess if they don't have the car, to a certain extent it means they aren't earning the margins, right? So for 6 to 8 weeks, if they don't have that van, they don't have someone going from place A to place B, they can't do the work, so they're losing money. Alternatively, they could actually get the car for $12,000, but they may well find that the 12K car breaks down, I guess has issues where they can't reach that person on time, they're wasting, I guess margins lost. Now using that analogy, if we look at the hiring of an A grade, every REC runs a business, and in running a business earns a margin. The margin in a service-oriented business is the individuals charged out at a certain hourly rate. If they are willing and wanting to pay only $35 an hour, let's say that's their cost. And let's say other costs are about $10 an hour. So 35 plus the 10, $45 is their cost per hour. And in this day and age, if they're not charging the customers at $90 an hour or more, one needs to question why they're taking the risk of being in business. I've heard from a lot of RECs that 90 is pretty much the bare minimum. So let's say the gross income's at $90 an hour, the net is at $45 an hour. 90 less 45 is $45 an hour. So $45 an hour, and let's say there's about 40 hours in a week, equates to about 200 hours in a month. If you take 200 hours in a month and multiply that by the margin, that's about $9,000. Now, if you take that across 2 months where you're sitting and waiting for the right person to come up at $35 an hour, you're losing at the rate of about $9,000 a month, or about $18,000 before you've got the right person, so to speak. So you're not going ahead and hiring that individual at market rates is costing you money at the end of the day. The margin lost. And let's say that you do find someone that's available at $35 an hour. I mean, there's no free lunches. So if you get someone at $35 an hour, it means it's pretty much the fish that John West doesn't want. It's a fish that pretty much gets chucked out. So at $35 an hour, you're going to be having someone where you will need to do rework. And worse, you might actually land up with a dreadful case where someone might sue you because the person at $35 an hour, basically they could get 40 to 45, so why the hell are they working at $35 an hour? And I can tell you this, looking at lots and lots of demand and lots of supply, that's where the market's at. So the point I make to you is, if you are sitting back and not hiring because you're waiting for that to happen, look, the market has moved. You would understand that the demand for this industry is very high. You've got your the electrification of the world, smart devices, smart houses, energy efficiency, the VEU program, electrical safety checks, which can only be done by qualified electricians. You look at rooftop housing, commercial solar. You look at security data. The opportunities are limitless. and supply, 30% of A grades are above the age of 50, so they're not really active, and 17 to 25% of the apprentices are not finishing. Supply is low, demand is high, and it will stay high. The current economy and whatever is happening to anything other than the A grades that can apply to the economy. But right now for qualified electricians, it is pretty tight, and the market's still pretty strong. So whether it's Mr. or Mrs. Employer, my plea to you is recognize the market, pay the market where it's at, because trying to stay at the $35 an hour, it's actually costing you money. Cheers, have a good day.